Stop everything you are doing right now. Shut the door, pull the blinds, and turn the volume all the way up, because something absolutely massive just happened in professional tennis, and the shockwaves are tearing through every locker room on the tour right now. Everyone saw the broadcast. Everyone watched Alex Eala take Diana Yastremska completely apart in a performance that sent a cold electric chill down the spine of every established player on the WTA Tour. But the real story is not what happened on the court. The real story is what happened after. The explosive behind-closed-doors reality that mainstream sports media is completely terrified to touch because it does not just shake the tennis world. It destroys the entire global power structure of professional tennis in a single breathtaking moment. Rafael Nadal, the undisputed king of clay, the 22-time Grand Slam champion, the untouchable living legend, just sent a loud, clear, and impossible-to-ignore public message directly to Alexa. And right now, every single veteran player on the tour is trembling. You need to understand how the dark, ruthless political underground of professional tennis actually works to truly appreciate why this message is so catastrophically devastating for the old guard. When a young player climbs up from the qualifiers and shocks an established veteran, the locker room has one very specific and very ugly response. They bury it. They call it a fluke. They tell the press the veteran had a bad day or the conditions were tricky. The established cliques then move in and begin systematically isolating the young player. They freeze her out. They refuse to share practice courts. They collectively wait for the brutal grinding tour calendar to eventually break her down and put her back in her place. But Rafael Nadal just picked up that entire unwritten locker room rulebook, shredded it into 1,000 pieces, drenched it in gasoline, and set it on fire in front of the entire watching world. By publicly choosing to validate Alexa's dominant victory, Nadal did not simply congratulate her. He crowned her. He threw the full enormous weight of his legendary legacy, his world-renowned academy, and his globally recognized name directly behind her. And the veterans are absolutely furious because they have just realized they are no longer fighting a 20-year-old rookie from the Philippines. They are fighting the personally chosen successor of the Nadal bloodline itself. Reports are coming in from hitting partners, coaches, and inside sources that the atmosphere in the players' lounge is completely toxic right now. Veterans are sitting with their phones, reading Nadal's words, and feeling a deep nauseating wave of inevitability crashing over them. Because Alexa is not just some girl with a good forehand. She is a proud elite product of the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. She was deliberately and methodically forged in the exact same competitive furnace, on the exact same red clay, that built one of the most ferocious champions in the history of the sport. The Nadal Academy does not produce comfortable players. It produces terminators. It breaks you down mentally and physically, until the only thing left is a burning obsessive desire to win every single point as though your life depends on it. When Alexa was out there suffocating Yastremska and forcing those catastrophic 15 double faults, she was not just playing tennis. She was channeling the exact same, cold-blooded never-surrender mentality that Nadal used to break opponents for over 2 decades. Heavy topspin. Zero ground given. Eyes locked with one silent message across the net. You are going to have to kill me to win this match. And now the godfather of tennis has placed his official blessing on her shoulders, and the jealousy inside that locker room is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Because here is the brutal reality. You cannot buy that kind of endorsement at any price in the world. You can win Grand Slams. You can sign deals with luxury brands. You can get a signature line with Nike or Adidas. But you cannot manufacture the genuine public respect of Rafael Nadal. These veterans have spent an entire decade grinding their bodies to dust. They have smiled for every camera. They have done every press junket. They have quietly begged for even the smallest acknowledgement from the legends of the sport. Nadal barely looked in their direction. But the moment Alexa destroys Yastremska, the king walks down from the mountain and personally hands her the torch. And that single act creates a total catastrophic collapse of the WTA hierarchy overnight. But beneath all that jealousy lives something far more dangerous. Pure primal fear. Because Nadal's message is not a compliment. It is a warning shot aimed directly at every single player on the tour. It says without any ambiguity at all, she carries my philosophy, she fights with my mentality, and she is coming for absolutely everything you have. Imagine being a top 10 player in the world right now. You just watched Alexa dismantle Yastremska with ice-cold composure and punishing ground strokes. And you now know with absolute certainty that when she needs to find that extra mental gear, she is drawing from the same psychological blueprint that made the greatest champions in history feel small. She has the ultimate competitive weapon programmed directly into her mindset, and there is no game plan on earth that stops it. You open the tournament draw, find her name in your section, and your stomach completely drops. The sports agencies and management companies are quietly panicking as well. Because in the world of global sports marketing, when Rafael Nadal publicly endorses a young player, every luxury brand, every tournament director, and every television executive on the planet immediately pivots in her direction. Alexa is about to become a commercial force that no veteran on the tour can compete with on or off the court. And she does not come alone. She arrives with the passionate backing of over 100 million people from the Philippines, plus the entire worldwide Rafa nation marching behind her. No other player on this tour can even begin to imagine what that kind of army feels like, pushing you forward every single match. Every time Alexa walks onto a court from this moment forward, the entire landscape of professional tennis shifts permanently beneath everyone's feet. She is not the promising youngster anymore. She is not the underdog chasing an upset. She is the executioner standing at the baseline. Yastromska was the proof of concept, and Nadal's message was the terrifying official launch. The veterans can complain in their private group chats all they want. They can pretend to be unbothered in front of the cameras. But when the umpire calls time, and they look across the net and see Alexa standing there with that unblinking dead-eyed focus, every single one of them is going to feel the ghost of Rafael Nadal staring directly back at them. And deep in their bones, they are going to understand that the era they built their entire careers inside has just come to a permanent and violent end. And let me tell you exactly why the timing of this makes everything 10 times more explosive. This did not happen at a Grand Slam. This did not happen on the biggest stage with the brightest lights and the most forgiving atmosphere in the world. This happened at a regular tour event where the pressure is different, where the margins are tighter, and where young players historically crumble under the weight of expectation. The fact that Alexa did not just survive that environment, but completely dominated it tells every coach, every analyst, and every veteran player watching exactly what kind of animal they are dealing with. This was not a lucky day. This was not favorable conditions falling perfectly into place. This was a calculated, methodical, suffocating demolition, carried out by a player who has been specifically engineered to perform at her absolute peak when the stakes are highest and the noise is loudest. And that is the detail that is keeping the established players awake at night, staring at the ceiling, because flukes do not dismantle veterans that cleanly. Accidents do not produce that kind of scoreline. Only a player who has been built from the ground up, with a singular terrifying purpose, produces a performance that ruthless on a neutral court against an experienced professional. The veterans know what they saw, and what they saw has changed everything.